The tennis world was on edge. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, was just moments away from the biggest victory of her career. She had already stunned the tennis world by reaching the final of the $1.64 million DC Open. She had defeated Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina Svitolina, and four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. Now, she was facing world number 3 Jessica Pegula for the title. The first set had gone to Pegula, 6-4. But Eala was fighting back. She was leading 2-1 in the second set. The momentum was shifting. The crowd was on its feet. And then, the skies opened up. Rain poured down. Lightning flashed. The match was suspended. And the tennis world was left asking one question: when will the DC Open Championship resume? Today on Top Spin, we are breaking down the suspension, the timeline, and what this means for Alex Eala's historic run. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The final between Alex Eala and Jessica Pegula was everything that tennis fans had hoped for. The top seed, Pegula, was looking to add another title to her impressive resume. The Filipina wild card, Eala, was looking to make history. The first set was a battle. Eala broke early and took a 4-3 lead, but Pegula fought back. The American broke Eala's serve and then held serve to win the first set 6-4. It was a hard-fought set, but Pegula's experience and consistency gave her the edge. She converted 2 of her 3 breakpoint opportunities and won 7 of 13 points behind her second serve. The second set started with promise for Eala. She held her first 2 service games and moved ahead 2-1 without facing a break point. She won all 7 points played behind her first serve in the set and 9 of 13 service points overall. The momentum was shifting. The Filipina was playing with confidence and aggression. And then, the rain began to fall. The conditions worsened quickly. Lightning was in the vicinity, and the tournament officials had no choice but to suspend play. The match was stopped at a crucial moment, with Eala having the momentum. The fans were left disappointed, and the players were left in limbo. The suspension was a test of patience for both players. Eala had been playing some of the best tennis of her career, and she was eager to continue her momentum. Pegula, the top seed and a 2-time DC Open champion, knew the importance of staying focused. The rain delay would give both players a chance to regroup and rethink their strategies. The match was a battle of wills, and the suspension added an extra layer of tension to an already high-stakes encounter. The players left Stadium Court after just 55 minutes of play. The wait had begun. The decision to suspend the match was not taken lightly. The tournament officials had already delayed the start of the final due to rain and lightning, pushing it from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The players had finally taken the court, but the weather had other plans. The rain returned, and with it came lightning. The officials had no choice but to stop the match for the safety of the players and fans. The tournament organizers posted on social media, "Play will not resume before 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time due to rain and lightning. Everyone on site should seek shelter immediately." The rain delay was expected to last for several hours. The latest update from the tournament indicated that play would not resume before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That corresponds to 7 a.m. Monday in the Philippines. The delays were a source of frustration for the players and the fans. Eala had to wait for hours to continue her quest for a first WTA title, and Pegula had to wait to add another trophy to her collection. The rain delay was a test of patience, but it also gave the players an opportunity to rest and recover. Eala had played 5 matches in 6 days, and the extra rest could be beneficial. Pegula, too, had played a tough schedule, and the break could help her regroup. The match was a marathon, not a sprint, and the player who could best manage the interruption would have an advantage. The tournament officials were keeping fans updated via social media. They were monitoring the weather conditions closely and would resume play as soon as it was safe to do so. The fans were left waiting, but they were confident that the match would be completed. The final was too important to be left unfinished. The forecast for the remainder of the day was not promising. More rain was expected, and there was a possibility that the match would be suspended until Monday. The tournament officials were prepared for that possibility, and they were working on a contingency plan. The fans were hoping for a quick resolution, but they were prepared for a long wait. The match was a test of endurance for everyone involved, and the tennis world was watching closely. The tournament also announced that ticket holders would be readmitted through both gates and encouraged those who remained to visit the restaurant partners across the grounds. After hours of waiting, the tournament officials finally made a decision. The match was suspended for the day. Play was scheduled to resume on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by the men's final between Taylor Fritz and Rafael Jota. The women's final would now take place at 12 p.m. on Monday. The announcement was a relief for the fans, who had been waiting for hours. But it also meant that the players would have to wait another day to finish the match. The resumption time was a source of hope for Eala and her fans. She would have a chance to regroup and continue her momentum. Pegula, too, would have time to prepare. The match was far from over, and the outcome was still uncertain. The tennis world was watching, and the Philippines was praying. Eala was ready for the next challenge. However, the schedule was later pushed back again. Tournament organizers announced on Monday morning that the final would now resume at 12 a.m. on Tuesday, August 4 Philippine time. The delay meant that Eala would have to wait even longer for her shot at history. The postponement was a disappointment for the fans, but it was a necessary decision. The safety of the players and the fans was the top priority. The tournament officials were committed to ensuring that the match was completed in a safe and fair manner. The final was too important to be rushed. The delay also highlighted the challenges of hosting an outdoor event in Washington, D.C. during the summer. The weather was unpredictable, and the tournament officials had to be prepared for any eventuality. The resumption was a test of patience, but it was also a reminder of the passion and dedication that went into making the tournament a success. The tennis world was watching, and the Philippines was celebrating. Eala was ready for the next challenge. The rain delay was a challenge for both players. It was a test of their mental toughness and their ability to stay focused. Eala had been playing some of the best tennis of her career, and she was eager to continue her momentum. She had defeated some of the best players in the world to reach the final, and she was determined to win the title. The rain delay was a disruption, but it was also an opportunity to rest and recover. Eala had spoken about her mental approach earlier in the tournament. There's always a chance for me to win. There's always a chance for me to lose. So I'm just going to do what I can control, and that's give my 100, she had said after her semi-final win over Osaka. This mindset was crucial for handling the uncertainty of a rain delay. She had to stay focused on what she could control, trust her game, and be ready to play when the match resumed. Pegula, the top seed and a two-time DC Open champion, was also focused on the task at hand. She knew the importance of staying patient and trusting her experience. She had been in this position before, and she knew how to handle the disruption. The rain delay was a test of her composure, and she was determined to maintain her focus. In her press conference before the final, Pegula acknowledged Eala's improvement, saying, "Obviously, she's been doing really well and she's gotten a lot better, too, as a player and become more experienced." The match was a battle of experience versus youth, and the rain delay added an extra layer of drama. The players had to stay loose, stay warm, and be ready to resume play at a moment's notice. The mental and physical toll of the waiting game was significant, and the player who could best manage the disruption would have an advantage. The tennis world was watching, and the Philippines was praying. Eala was ready for the next challenge. The suspension gave both players time to reassess their tactics. Eala had started the second set with a break of serve and was leading 2-1 when play was halted. She would have the momentum on her side when play resumed. Pegula, on the other hand, would need to regroup and find a way to break Eala's serve and regain control of the match. Let us zoom out. The rain delay in the DC Open final was a reminder of the unpredictability of sport. But it was also a reminder of the incredible journey that Eala has been on. She had arrived in Washington as a wild card, ranked world number 28. She had defeated 5 seeded players in a row to reach the final. She had beaten some of the best players in the world, including Olympic gold medalist Ching Chinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina Svitolina, and 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. She was just one set away from the biggest title of her career. The rain delay was a test of her patience, but it was also a sign of her incredible potential. She had already achieved more than any Filipino player before her. She was the first to be seeded at Wimbledon. She was the first to reach the second week of a Grand Slam. She had beaten the best players in the world, including the defending champion Iga Swiatek. She was only 21 years old, and her journey was just beginning. The support from her fans was a testament to the impact she has had on the Philippines. She was not just a tennis player, she was a movement. The tennis world was watching, and the Philippines was celebrating. Alex Eala was ready for the next challenge. The DC Open was just the beginning of a new chapter in her incredible story. She was not just a tennis player, she was a global icon. Eala had often spoken about the importance of staying grounded. "I don't see myself any differently. I know who I am," she said earlier in the tournament. Her humility was one of her defining qualities, and it was one of the reasons she had become so beloved. Despite her success, she remained connected to her roots and committed to representing the Philippines with pride and honor. The DC Open was a celebration of that commitment. The rain delay was a test of her character, and she was ready for the challenge. The final would resume, and the tennis world would be watching. Alex Eala was ready to make history.